When people heard the words "never save money," they usually laughed. That was exactly what Ethan Carter did the first time his grandfather said it. Ethan was 26, living in Austin, working long hours at a tech startup. His phone was a constant stream of finance gurus, all screaming the same message: save more, cut expenses, build wealth early. So one summer evening, when his grandfather, Henry, leaned back in his creaky wooden chair and calmly said, "Son, never save money," Ethan thought age had finally caught up with him. He laughed. "Grandpa, that's the worst advice I've ever heard." Henry just smiled, completely unbothered. "That's because you don't know what I mean yet," he said. You see, Henry was 83, a retired factory worker who lived simply. No fancy car, no exotic vacations. Yet, he never seemed to worry about money. Bills were always paid. And when trouble hit the neighborhood, Henry was often the first to help out. Ethan leaned forward, curious. "So what do you mean? Don't save at all?" Henry took a slow sip of his sweet tea. "I said never save money," he replied. "But I never said waste it." That one sentence stuck with Ethan for the rest of the night. Later, under a sky full of stars, Henry told his story. He started working at the steel plant at 22, saving every single penny. He skipped meals, wore worn-out shoes, and never helped anyone because he was terrified of touching his savings. "I thought money in the bank meant security," he said. "But one day, the plant shut down overnight. And guess what? My savings didn't save me." What saved him were people. A neighbor gave him some temporary work. A friend helped him find a new job. An old coworker let him sleep on his couch. Henry looked at Ethan, his eyes filled with a lifetime of wisdom. "I realized something important," he said quietly. "Money didn't rescue me. Relationships did." He leaned closer. "Money is like water. If you let it sit still, it goes stale. But when you let it flow, when it helps, builds, and supports, it comes back fresh." Ethan was confused. "So you're saying spend everything?" Henry laughed. "No, son. I'm saying don't worship your savings. Invest in life. Spend money to learn new skills. Spend it to help others. Use it to build relationships and create memories. But never, ever save money just because you're scared. Fear makes money useless." A few months later, Ethan's company announced layoffs. He survived the first round, but the office was filled with uncertainty. Around the same time, a coworker invited him to join a risky new startup idea. It would mean using a huge chunk of his savings. His gut instinct screamed, "Don't touch the money." But then he heard his grandfather's voice in his head, "Never save money out of fear." He called Henry. "What if I lose everything?" Ethan asked, his voice trembling. Henry paused, then said, "Then you'll still have your skills, your courage, and your people. And those are worth more than any number on a screen." So Ethan took the leap. The startup didn't become a massive success. In fact, within a year, it failed. His savings were almost gone. He felt foolish, angry, and ashamed. He called his grandfather again, his voice bitter. "I should have just saved the money." Henry's voice was calm on the other end. "Tell me, what did you gain?" Ethan thought about it. He'd learned how a business actually works. He learned about leadership and problem solving. He'd built incredibly strong friendships and gained a type of confidence he never had before. Henry seemed to smile through the phone. "Then you didn't lose money," he said. "You converted it." 6 months later, something amazing happened. An investor from the failed startup reached out. He remembered Ethan's work ethic and offered him a key role in a new company, better pay, more responsibility, and a piece of the business. This time, Ethan didn't hesitate. Years passed. Ethan built a stable, fulfilling career. It wasn't overnight wealth, but meaningful success. One afternoon, Sitting with his grandfather again, he finally said, "I get it now. Saving money without a purpose is just hoarding fare. Using money to grow yourself. That's freedom." When Henry passed away, he didn't leave a large inheritance. Instead, he left letters. In Athens, he had written, "I didn't leave you much money because I already gave you something better. The courage to use it as a tool, not a cage. Remember, wealth isn't what you keep, it's what you become." Ethan finally understood the full lesson. Never save money just to feel. Save, invested to become strong. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more.